From Armenia TV, we are here this evening interviewing Yersapet from ANCA, the Communications Director. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Garine. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks very much. So, having spent the last week with you as part of the Armenian National Committee of Australia delegation, we have been absolutely inspired by your commitment, your knowledge, your skill set in promoting the Armenian cause. So, what motivated you to join the Haitad movement and continue to serve this movement for more than 2 decades and counting?
Garine, first of all, it's me who was inspired throughout this whole week. I mean, working with your veteran team of ANC Australia activists, and then also working with the new group of young up-and-comers who are going to blow us all away in terms of their leadership. It was just such an inspirational experience. But I'll tell you, I got my start in the Armenian Youth Federation. A proud San Francisco Rostom chapter member in the beginning, and I was blessed to have AYF advisors who were all members of the Armenian National Committee in my local area. And so they got me started on the right path. And frankly, when I graduated university, we was in the middle of the Artsakh War. It kept me very engaged in the process. And when the time came and the knock on the door came to move to Washington, D.C., well, I'll tell you, a 2-year tour in Washington turned into 20. So an honor and a pleasure to be allowed to continue in that purpose.
The ANC America office in Washington, D.C. is considered the capital of the Haitad movement. So what is the structure of your team?
Well, one of the fundamental functions of the ANCA in Washington, D.C. is our youth programs, an investment in the future of Haitad through the training of the future leaders of our community. We do it in 2 types of ways. One is through our ANCA Leo Sarkisian summer internship program, which is basically an annual 8-week boot camp for the Armenian cause. We bring in the best and brightest from universities across the United States. They get trained on how to effectively represent our issues, and then they go back to their communities where they work with our local ANCs and with their various youth organizations in order to move our issues forward. And then the second program that we've implemented now for in the past 14 years is the ANCA Hovigapo Sardajan Capital Gateway program. This is a unique program that helps young people who are interested in politics, interested in policy, interested in media, to bring them to Washington, D.C., give them 3 months of free housing, give them career services, mentorship, so that they can find a job in Washington, D.C., so that as our advocates are knocking on congressional doors in order to move our issues forwards, in the future we will have our advocates turned elected officials opening those doors and responding to our issues. 2 programs we're extremely proud of, and we look forward to getting Australians coming into those programs as well.
So what are some of the major successes over the years that you'd like to highlight to our audience?
I think that one of the major successes have been moving forward on the Armenian genocide issue, efforts in the past when we were able to cut aid to Turkey because of the Armenian genocide. It's about Artsakh right now. We were able recently to get up to over $40 million in U.S. assistance since 1997 for Artsakh. It's trying to bring in very common sense peace proposals to try to ensure that we don't have the type of fighting and attacks that we are seeing right now from Azerbaijan on the border. And then on the Armenia side, it's focusing on strengthening U.S.-Armenia relations. You know, there's been over $2 billion in U.S. assistance to Armenia since 1988, and now we're looking to see what we can do to augment that, to transition that into trade and investment, to ensure that we have the maximum strength and kind of cohesion between the 2 countries.
So what do you consider the greatest challenges to the realization of Haitad's goals both in the United States and globally?
Well, certainly we have an incredible group of actors working against us. The Turkish government, the Azerbaijani government, who are spending millions and millions of dollars in lobbying both against Armenian genocide recognition, against justice for the Armenian genocide, who are lobbying to try to trample on the rights to self-determination of the people of Artsakh. And we're seeing as part of that not just them, but basically the multinational corporations and interests that they're blackmailing into their support. So so it's a huge hurdle, but what I know is the strength of our community is the community, our people. I was talking to the Galston College kids today, and I was telling them that, Azerbaijan or Turkey may have one ambassador here in Australia, an ambassador in the United States. We are blessed to have 50,000 Armenian ambassadors here in the United States, 1.5 million in the 50,000 in Australia, 1.5 million in the United States, and that, I think, is the difference. It's a commitment of our community to leverage their strengths in support of our nation.
Completely. What are the major opportunities you can highlight having met with our federal legislators here in Australia?
Well, I think that there's many opportunities to move forward on issues, whether it's Armenian genocide considerations, whether it's trying to bring about common sense peace proposals. Just this week, after our ANC advocacy days, we saw that 2 members of the parliament spoke out very critically against Azerbaijan's aggression against Armenia and Artsakh, and that's only something that's going to grow. Here in Australia, you have 2 states that have already recognized the Armenian genocide. There's great opportunities there to expand that list. And then you have the opportunity, Australia is one of the few countries in the world that has a state that's recognized Artsakh as an independent entity. The United States as well, and I think 2 of us are maybe the 2 provincial areas that have done it, and there's greater opportunities there as well.
So following this interview, we will be concluding ANC-AU Advocacy Week with our annual banquet. Having spent the last week with the ANC Australia team, what are your impressions of the Australian operation?
The Australian operation is nothing short of inspirational. You have incredible veteran team members who know exactly how the system works and how to operate within the system of government here, whether it's on the federal level, on the provincial level, etc. But you also have a wonderful group of young people that are in the mix, some who've already run for office under the age of 25, others who have brought in all their expertise from their different not-political work, all their connections to assist in this effort. And that's really the strength of the ANC. It's bringing in diverse strengths, diverse capabilities all together in support of the cause.
Absolutely. Well, Yelisabet, thank you so much for your time. From Armenia Media, this is Garine Torosyan.
Armenia Media ընկերակցության անունով գուզենք շնորհակալություն հայտնել մեր բոլոր երաշխավորներուն։